This is a Tal. I'm Jeff Underwood. This guy over here looking really fresh with his Kusa blue hat. You notice that? It's a good looking hat. Jerry White.
That's a 3-year-old hat that I wore it when I went to Pastor Michael's house to help him in his yard.
Okay. So you feel like a man in a hat.
The first thing I did was strip it off, throw it in the washing machine. I don't like to be dirty, man. I don't like to be dirty. Man, this is a show we've been so excited to have. Again, this is Atala. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. No introduction needed, but when we heard you were going back on this trip again to Togo, Africa, we could not wait to get you back on the show to talk about all the we'll talk about kind of what you did, but I also want to talk about the trip or the events that led you to get involved with this organization.
There you go.
Okay.
The floor is yours, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. A few weeks ago, a group that I was part of, we went to Togo, Africa. This was my third time to Togo. We stay in Lomé, and then we drive out to orphanages, specifically one in Musakope, and work with the kids and stuff like that. That's originally how it started out. Now it's evolving more, which is a good thing.
Right.
The orphanage in Musakope is wonderful. It's great. It's thriving. They are, other than your common cuts, scrapes, occasional malaria, just your common colds, they're fine. I mean, they're well fed. They are well protected. They're happy kids.
Sorry, he said common malaria. Talk about taking stuff for granted.
I mean, over there, that's
Sure.
how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not uncommon to hear, Kosovo had malaria a week ago, but he's fine now. Or they talk about it like we talk about pink eye. I mean, that's unfortunately that's just how it is in Togo. So this year was different than other ones because, and it's a good problem to have, a lot of the kids that were in the orphanage, they're aging out. They're getting 18 years of age or older, and they're having to leave the orphanage. So at this point now, I believe this mission is getting into these kids too, because they got to have some guardianship when they're good. Because again, they've grew up in an orphanage, so the mentorship they've had, there's been some strong. I don't know, but I mean, it's still an 18-year-old kid going out to the city to find work, or an 18-year-old child going to another area to learn a trade. Electricians, mechanics, cooking, those are huge trades. They're sewing, be a seamstress, work with concrete, that's plumbing. I mean, those are trades that these kids are going off.
They come here to America and be
come on over.
Goodness.
And it's almost, to me, I think some of the trades looks like a racket where they get taken advantage of because they have to work under a master. And there's always money involved here, there, paid for equipment, paid for this, and I guess whenever you're doing your apprenticeship and working under a master, I don't know if you're getting paid or what, but if you are, it's not much, and you're basically free labor. So it's one of those, you try to help push them along if we can figure out a need for how to get them past the master and get their own master, where they can be their own, and then train them. We're trying to get that part. Others that have careers, trying to help them see what their needs are.
Like being an intern in the mega churches.
And
we see Church of the Highlands.
Get them interns. That's all right.
And I guess the biggest thing, also, you can't, and it's like any child, you just can't give everything. It's one of those, you have to figure out what the need is, what's the return. If I get this, are they going to be able to work to get it? You just can't. Here you go, here you go, here you go.
Yeah.
So it's that portion has evolved. Other parts we've started. I've gone in year 21, 23, and then 25. In 21, I want to believe if it was the first time we went, this group had gone to a different village if it wasn't the first, it was the second. But we've started going to other villages. They've hooked up with another pastor out there named Pastor Frida. That a lot of these small villages, he goes and pastors, and in their churches. And when I say what their churches are what we typically some wood and thatch they have on a roof, or maybe some aluminum they have on the roof and stuff like that. Well, there was a church in Gokakope, which is probably about 15-20 minutes from Musakope, that over the years, Mayhem Mission, which is the group that we go with, has raised funds, and they have actually built a church for them. And it was completed. We got to see it this first time a couple weeks ago, and have a service there, a huge celebration and stuff like that. So they've done that. There's another small village in Fairmea. Fairmea is a special place for me. We originally visited there in 21. When we were greeted, I mean, we had all these kids come out, parade of maybe 20-25 kids. I have a video. They're banging drums, singing. I mean, they're greeting us group.
Yeah.
So we go and we have a service with them. The service we do, like I said, it's in a. They have some blocks down where they're trying to want to build a church, but but inside of that there's a smaller square where they've put their little trees and built their roof and all that. So we had a great celebration with them, and we asked them, hey, what are your needs? What can we do to help? And like I said, this is in 2021, and they said, we'd like a roof to our church. And we're like, well, we can see what can happen. During this time for me personally, I had a mom who she had in 2006 she was diagnosed with glioblastoma multiforme, malignant brain tumor. That's the one that when Senator Kennedy, that when he had it, that got him pretty quick. Typical lifespan's 6 months to 2 years. When mom had it, of course, she had the gamma knife, and they cut the cancer out of her brain, and then of course chemo, radiation, and she got on some study meds for it because nobody knew. I mean, this is a brain cancer that is very lethal. So she did very well up until about, I think it was 2011. Because of side effects, because of what the cancer did, mobility sometimes was an issue. When she fell and hit her head, cracked, at that point became pretty much 100% dependent, nonverbal at that point. So, you're always praying. She never suffered. My mom, or my dad and my aunt, my mom's twin sister, they took care of her, never had a bed sore, but she required care 100% all the time. They took care of her at that point. So you're always praying, Lord, mom would never want to be in this situation at any point, if it's time to bring her home, we're okay. So I guess when we returned back in 21 for my first time, and I was showing the videos and pictures and stuff like that, I told the story. And of course my mom's there, and she's in a wheelchair, she's asleep. I know she hears it. So a week later, she goes on hospice and she passes away. That at that point, for me, that gave me an answer of, hey, why she held on so long, why she wasn't called. It was destined for me to be at this place. It was destined for her to hear the story, because when people pass away, reaction, you want to give flowers or do a donation. Well, we did a donation. We said, hey, in lieu of flowers, if you want to make a donation to Mayhem Missions for the roof, to build a roof for this church. And we raised enough, and we built a roof for the church.
Praise God.
So, like I said, that is that village is special to me because of the church we built for Mom. Or in her memory. Don't tell the Togo government, but this past time when I was there, I stole dirt. I guess when I went back in 23, I was an emotional mess leading into it. So, and then we had a ceremony and stuff like that, and we talked, and I had to do a talk. So emotionally, I was probably not in the best.
Yeah.
So this time it was more reflection, and they didn't know we were coming. So basically, we just got to look around. And,
Yeah.
we had some in the village that came and talked to us. The pastor there came and talked to us, but I had the idea, hey, let's take some dirt home and have a piece of
Sure.
the church here. So
Imagine the service under that roof. Yeah, that was a serious service on it. Heck yeah.
but so like I said, it's evolving in a great way, and I look forward to where it's going to go in the coming years.
What was your, going back to the very beginning, what was your expectations versus what the actuality of your very first trip?
Okay, my very first trip was going to be. Well, let me go back right quick. So in 2017, 2018, 2019, my wife and I were sitting there praying, Lord, where do you want us? What can we do? We knew we had the pharmacy, so getting out, going places was probably not, becoming a missionary was probably not going to be in the cards. But we would always pray. So in 2019, when my friend Brian Nelson, who is, like I said, the point man here, and Jared Warren, doctor, Gadsden Regional.
Do they have a gym in Togo where Brian works out? Just a question.
No.
Sorry, Brian.
No.
The ultimate CrossFit, right?
Right.
He makes it up as he goes. When
I'm
he's
sure.
there. Yes.
Sorry. I
No
had to
different
get it-
than
had
any
to
other
get it
gym
digging.
for that dude, right?
That's a fact. He's a
So,
beast.
but those two went together. Brian wanted to take Jared and at the orphanage for him to look at all the kids, examine all the kids, make sure they're healthy, see what's going on. So they went. They came back. Brian talked to us. He talked to me. He's like, hey, we really need you to go. We need you to go. We need medicine. Jared do the medical part. And we're like, okay. So we kept praying. Well, made that decision. I can't remember. It was one night during the fall. I remember at some point that's when the Lord spoke, hey, this is what I want you to do. So we planned we were going to go in 2020, which everybody knows what happened. And March 13th of 2020, the world shut down.
Yeah.
So we were going to go about mid-April. It's going to be Brian Nelson, Jared Warren, myself, and we had a young nurse that Brian knew through, I think, CrossFit Mayhem in Cookville named Brooklyn. So we were all going to go, the four-person team, we were going to go in April. So we're sitting there, things are shutting down, and we have a little group, we're texting, we're like, what do we do? And Jared and I have talked about it, and we're both the same way. Hey, we're okay going, but we got to make sure we get back.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We got to make sure if we're going through Paris, we don't get stuck in Paris. That Paris doesn't let us leave the country. We got to make sure the U.S. lets us back in the country. So the Lord made that decision easy when the Paris airport shut down at that point. So we knew we could not get out. We knew we could not get out of the country. So Delta was very nice. They gave 2-year vouchers on our tickets and stuff like that. So we went ahead and in 21 started planning for our next trip, which we went in 21. So now getting back to your question. So me being a pharmacist, having access where I can buy medications, over-the-counter stuff at cost, we utilize that. Brian with CrossFit Mayhem, they utilized collecting other things, soccer balls, flip-flops, Band-Aids, feminine products for the females and stuff like that. So we filled up probably 6 duffel bags that were maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall. We had them filled up.
Heck yeah.
Only to when you get to Togo, customs at the airport decided to come and take all our bags. So, which is not uncommon. The dollar goes a long way in Togo, meaning don't be surprised if you get shook down and you have to pay stuff like that. Eventually, we were able to get our bags away from the government. Adam, who we can talk about Adam in a little bit, but Adam, who was the original person from Togo who met up with Bruce and Philip, and they took the original trip. His dad is higher up there. He was able to help us get our stuff. So originally when I went, I thought, hey, I'm going to be here, we're going to do medicine, stuff like that. Well, when your products are all tied up for a couple of days, then you have to reevaluate what you're doing. So at that point, there was more anxious because it was, what do I need to do? I mean, I'm not a teacher. I can play with kids. I let the kids jump on me and I kick a soccer ball with them. But Lord, what do you need me to do? And He showed me different things and stuff like that. But so the initial one was the medicine part. We got smarter when we went back in 23. We found a person there that could purchase medications there wholesale, at wholesale for us. And the medicines that they have there are a whole lot, I think, to me, are a whole lot better than what we have here, as far as some of the combinations they do for their antibiotic creams are really good. The medicines they sell for malaria, you can't get here. So the medicines we sell for the ones that have worms, any type of stuff like that, are a whole lot cheaper. So it worked out better. Money that we would use to buy, that I would use here to buy, we're able to direct there and get a whole lot more better products, I think, for what is needed there. So getting into year 2, you get more into that. So I had a better expectation of not having to worry about the medicine. We're getting the medicine there. We can equally distribute it out between where it needs to go. But then I can do whatever else is needed, whether it's talk to some of the older kids, or do some mentorship. Think of things of how, when we talk to these kids that are in trade school, they're trying to figure out how they can buy their tools to be a mechanic. We're figuring it out, or how we can get mattresses, and stuff like that, because you always need a mattress there. And then going into this year, it was just great because I've been there twice, so there's really no anxiety. So you're going and you appreciate it more. You can sit there. Everything, to me, everything I thought went real slow, which is great, because you could take it all in. I was able to, which is not something not in my comfort zone. When we're at different orphanages, sometimes you have kids in the neighboring tribes that come up and they'll look through. Well, I'll go talk to the people out there. That's something that I'm not used to doing. But go out there and take a translator, and we, kick the ball, or some of them we took a football and we showed them how to throw a football for the first time.
Heck yeah.
But these are just kids, and you can tell they're mountaineerish because they got the little bellies, and I didn't learn that. That's a sign, one of the signs out there. When you see them with a little old belly and stuff like that, you think, oh, that kid's well fed. No, he's malnourished. But
in the language barrier, is that a French-speaking country?
it is a French, but it's got a real strong dialogue that even if you had somebody that was an accomplished French or knew French as a second language or first language, they would probably still have to really dig, whenever you start talking, they'd have to lean in and listen, because it's a unique one. But it is French.
Same way with us in Italian, right? English language.
You got to sit there. Yes, you got to sit there and really dig in and say, "Oh, I know what he's saying."
Oh, yeah, I know that.
But primarily, yes, it is French.
How difficult was it to mix with the culture? Like, how receptive to when they see this white guy, right? Obviously he looks different. He's dressed different.
Yes.
His posture is different, right? So you're standing out. How tough is it for the culture to embrace you at first before they know what you're doing?
They're curious.
Yeah.
And this goes back to a lot of this past trip where I would get out and go and walk, and which I probably shouldn't do, but if my wife's listening, I'm sorry. But
Cut that out.
But I would walk out down a dirt road for mile or so just to see what was there. But people would look at you and smile, or for some of them, it might have been the first time they had seen a person of my color. Man, you know, I
can see the mom gathering the kids. Let's go back in the hut.
Well, you kind of see that. You kind of see that.
Yeah.
And this is in the city of Lomé, and this is out in the villages. I think more in the villages, there was more curiosity about it, where they wanted to come up and almost like touch you to see if you're real. When you're in the city in Lomé, that would be the more where you would think more might be scared, or not scared, but just didn't know. That's and kind of taking a step back, thinking, who's this guy?
Right.
What is he doing? And
Yeah.
so it takes a minute. It takes a minute for that, but afterwards, especially in the villages, then they want to come up hug you. They want to come up, you know, whether it's older adults or children, they want to hold your hand. They want to guide you to
Cool.
see where their place is and stuff like that. So
That's pretty cool. I can see them using them as you don't do your homework, the white man's coming for you.
Right.
I can see that.
yes, but
But you got such a heart for that area,
It's-
man. It's pretty special.
it's one of those, like I said, when you felt that's where you're led to go,
Yeah.
you got to listen. I mean, when you pray for it, I mean, you know, specifically if you're praying for an answer, just because when he gives you the answer, if it's not what you want to hear, you can ignore it.
Still the answer.
I mean, look at Jonah.
Yeah, boy.
I ain't going to Nineveh.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, like I said, it's one of those. You have to, if you're willing to ask for the prayer, you have to be willing to accept the answer.
You didn't know Scott was going to preach today.
You go right on in. Man.
But I mean, that's just.
So from a medical standpoint, obviously you're a pharmacist. You see a lot of stuff daily. What is the health like truly in the villages?
In the villages, malnourishment. That is.
Food fixes a lot. Huh?
Food fixes a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, they all have. I can't remember this recent time when we were there. You know, everybody has their own chickens and stuff like that, and they're just running around the villages. And it wasn't until we were probably on day. We were up at Palamé visiting there's four young youth there that are in trade school there. It wasn't until we went to see where they were living, and I started looking at these chickens, and I noticed they all had a piece of a cloth, you know, so that's how they mark their chickens.
Oh, that makes
You know,
sense.
I guess so-and-so would have a red cloth, and they knew those chickens because those chickens were there. They had two reasons. They were there to lay eggs, or they were going to be eaten. So, you know.
You better be laying an egg, or you're next.
So I guess the biggest need, like I said, is that malaria. Like I said, very prominent. We would run across people with malaria, especially some of the older youth that lived in the orphanage that are in the city now. But we wouldn't know it till a day later. We would know. We would recognize, oh, so and so was quiet that night, or was just real tired. Only to find out he had malaria. But and then you just get your common, because they all pretty much, if they don't walk barefoot, they have flip flops. Right. So at that point, you know, there's fungus, there's and just all that for the feet and stuff like that. But as far as I can't remember, another person made a comment. You never see anybody smoke there. So, and this is whether in the city or out in the villages, because out in the villages they still have cell phones. I mean, that's where the world we live in now. You're in a remote village, but they still have. There's one of these around there.
That's incredible.
Because there's people still traveling through, going from Ghana to Togo, or from Togo to Benin, or there's always somebody going through. So they got to have some type of cell towers and stuff like that. But
oh crap, your wife's listening.
She's listening. I'm in trouble. Hope she's working.
She did say listening.
Yeah, listening. Yeah,
so-
she was
She probably has it on as background.
So,
Yeah.
how, to the people watching or listening, what's the difference in healthcare? Is there healthcare? How do a lot of these people, besides medical missions, do they get access to healthcare? And how's that different from us, obviously? But
They have health care, but it's not real good.
Yeah.
We are actually at the orphanage in Amosacope. They're very fortunate. There's a small hospital out there. I say a small. They call it a hospital. It's probably a quarter of the size of this church. It's not real big. They call that the hospital.
Yeah.
Like I said, to me, it's a building. At the orphanage now, they actually have a doctor that comes out once or twice a week and
good.
visits. The reason why, he has a heart for it. He doesn't charge them to come out to see the kids. He just does. He enjoys watching them. But he actually trained out there at that clinic and just knew Mama, who runs the orphanage there, Mama and Adodo, who's the head man there. He just knew them, and that back, I think he said in January, he just started coming out and so seeing them. But typically, you have to go to a hospital, but the care there is not not the best. I mean, it's just, number one, I guess the funds, because I'm sure everything is government provided. I've never asked that, but I'm sure everything is. And I guess when you have the government looking at that, then there's also a backlog.
Sure,
I doubt there's any primary care physicians in Togo.
Good.
They're not probably treating blood pressure. They're not monitoring every month. It's one of those. They probably see a physician in the hospital and says, you have high blood pressure, go get this medicine, and you go get it and take it until either you die or you don't take it anymore. So the healthcare, like I said, they're lacking. There is a presence, but like I said, it is lacking. Back in 21, before I went on my first trip, I met a lady in Asheville, and she had a close family friend who was an American doctor that was working over in the country. He wasn't working in Lomé. It was probably a couple hours out, but he was actually a American physician working in Togo, but he was doing it as a missionary.
That's cool.
So they have that there, but like I said, it's just totally, it's not. If I woke up with a cough today, then I could go to an urgent care clinic. They could. They might could go down to the pharmacy and ask, but what to do? But I mean, it's one of those. It's just it's totally different.
Let's switch up just a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit. We all know we go into rooms, youth events or kids, and there's a couple kids that stand out. Who are some of the kids that you just like really
Togo?
enjoyed hanging out with them? Yeah.
There's two, and I remember them when from 21. There's Amos and David.
Okay.
They're buddies. They're about the same age. They would probably have been. They've been 5 or 6 when we first did it. This tall. They're the ones that would. I guess the first time we went, they had not started school yet, so they were still getting their school in the orphanage. They had not gone out to a secondary school outside the walls. So we would get to spend time with them. Of course, they're little kids. They're hyper. They're going everywhere. They're, if you have sunglasses, they're wanting to put your sunglasses on and stuff like that. But go back 2 years later, they remember us. We still remember them. Go back in 25, we still, and now they're getting to where they're 10, 11 years old. So they're getting to be the older kids there, watching them kick soccer balls with the older kids. This most recent time we went, we had a lady out of Washington, and her and her husband, they donated money to have some soccer goals built. And in Africa, they don't build the huge soccer goals.
Yeah.
They build them. They're about this high. They're about that wide. Where because to play them, well, they had some manufactured, built out of some aluminum nets. So we took them out to the orphanage there and let
That's
them, gave it to them, and they put on a match for us. So, when you're seeing these kids, Amos and David, who are out there getting to play with the older kids, it makes you feel good and
Yeah,
stuff like
man.
that.
Heck yeah.
And there was another village we went to, Gokokope. They actually had a league. They put on a league soccer game. This is the one that Mayhem built the church for in the last couple of years. Well, I guess they have a soccer field. Of course, their field has the tree growing up in the corner, and it's
Heck
not
yeah.
level, and there's a huge rock. But they actually played a full match in for us. At halftime, stopped, did a preaching.
Heck yeah.
They did their preaching, and then they went back, played the second half. I mean, soccer, well, football is the main sport there. So, but anyways, going back, Amos and David, yeah, that's two that
Heck yeah.
I always remember.
So the orphanage that you guys work
Okay.
with, is it a group that owns this orphanage, or usually I think aren't pastors kind of over orphanages and churches and those types of things?
Specifically, who owns it, I do not know. I know Togo Missions, which is still a part, which originated here in Etowah County.
That's cool.
They've built the wall. They're the one that originally, back in, I think it was 2010, identified a need. They ran into a lady getting water at a well, who goes by the name of Mama. That's how everybody knows her there, is Mama.
That's pretty
Mama's
awesome.
very known in the country, but I guess they ran into her, found out she was keeping kids. This is how the story that I've been told, that I interpret it, goes. And at that point, they built her an orphanage. They built this part, they built that part, built a wall around it, built a kitchen, built a bathhouse. They just every year just keep building. So we had that in 2010 with Togo Missions, and then you're gonna laugh at this. What was the original question? I got to talking and going.
We're talking about the orphanage and,
Okay.
and kind of who,
Okay.
where are
Where it
they,
goes.
and
Okay.
who are they?
So
Yeah.
I think Togo Missions, I don't know if they specifically own it or if it's Mama's land, but they buy everything for it.
Yeah.
Togo Missions, it branched into somewhat of Mayhem Missions, but Togo Missions is still there. And Mayhem still gives money, I think, through to Togo to pay out for that stuff. But I want to say, if I had to guess, I would think more of it's Mama's land, but it's financed by Togo. But the one thing I have learned, there are also other. Togo Missions is not the only provider for this orphanage. There are others. We were flying on a plane, and we were going from Paris to Lomé, and we had a travel's a nightmare. But anyways, Brian, where he was sitting, he sat next to a lady who was in Paris, and they got to talking. Well, it just so happened she gives money to that orphanage, and she was meeting her husband down there, and they're an older couple, and they met up with us one day out in the village, out there at the orphanage.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, but I mean, this is a person that, she might go there when she's in Togo, but her and her husband give money to that orphanage. So, but like I said, to answer your question, I think it's a joint effort, I guess.
Sure. Wow.
And we have, Dwayne and Jennifer East from here. That's, we get their side of Togo as well. And it's so funny, you and Dwayne never met.
Dwayne and I have never met. And I never knew Jennifer until the first time we ever saw her was we're at the airport in Atlanta. It's April 2021. Jared and I, we'd already checked in. We go to our terminal where we're leaving. Like I said, during that time, we're traveling during COVID. At 2021, COVID is still there. It's going. So Atlanta Airport, you go through a lot of different areas to make sure you're feeling healthy before you get on a plane or before you
Sure.
go to another country. They're making sure you have shown where you have a negative COVID test and you've been vaccinated and you've done this. And so that's where I first met Jennifer, was in the terminal waiting to get on a plane.
Okay.
And originally she was traveling with us, but was not a part, but would work part of the time with us, but had other issues that she was handling at that time. Like we talked earlier, when we came home in 8 days, she stayed for,
God, for a long time.
like I said, I think it was 8 months. If she came home at any from that April, I don't remember it, because every time I saw pictures of her, she
Yeah.
was there.
Wow. Man.
Like Dwayne sent me that picture I just showed you of the first picture with Joseph and his sister. Seeing that picture, them seeing him last night, introduced at the Conquerors.
That's cool.
Now they are seniors?
Seniors, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
like I said, I remember meeting him for the first time in 21.
Dude, he's like a grown man.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
just,
I mean, we had that picture that
yeah.
I
You sent
you.
me, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, of him and I.
That's the
back
first time you met?
That was the first time I met Joseph and
Yeah.
I. Yes.
Yeah. When's the last time you spoke with him?
I saw them at the Falls. I don't think they remembered me. It's been about 6-7 months. They were up walking in the fall. It was in the fall, somewhere in there. So, but like I said, I spoke to them, but I don't think they remembered me.
Yeah, what a great family, though. It's amazing. Hey, keep the comments coming. A lot of people watching. Your wife said she's just taking care of business.
Taking care of business. She said, "Oh, he's doing good on time." So.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, we keep him on time.
Because if he gets a call from the principal, we know we're in trouble.
Oh,
She reached
yeah.
out.
Well, she ain't watching. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Goodness. So how can local churches, how can organizations, businesses, individuals help Mayhem and their mission to Togo?
I think there's 2 ways. I think you can donate one to Togo Missions, which they're still on Facebook and stuff like that. If not, we can find out. We can get information like that, or you can make specific donations to Mayhem Missions in care of Togo Missions through
Okay.
them, and that money gets directed right back. Also, that's the 2 ways. Of course, that's if you want to give monetary. We always accept prayers.
Amen.
Prayer
Thank you.
doesn't cost a thing to pray. We always need prayers for guidance, protection.
Somebody's asking what is the greatest need other than money? Obviously, that is a need, but what is the greatest need? Maybe somebody can prayer target for the orphanages or the orphanage there, mamas.
The biggest thing to pray for is pray for good health, and just pray for great adult decisions for these kids. Because you got to remember, these kids do not have. There's no parental influence. There's adult mentorship is at a minimum. So it's one of those. The adults, a lot of the older kids that have been in the orphanage in their 20s, they try to come back. We've asked them, hey, at least if you can come back at least once a month. We've asked how much would it cost to take a taxi out there. When I say a taxi is riding on the back of a motorcycle. So, but how much would it cost to get there? So maybe you could go out there for a day and spend with these kids and stuff like that. That's to me, I think one of the biggest prayers is for that. It's like I said, try to keep them healthy and try to keep positive adults or older individuals in their lives, so they can have something to look forward to.
Jeff, you want to read this comment by Dwayne?
Let me see. Dwayne?
Yeah, Dwayne East.
The very last one.
Yeah.
Oh, he says, come see Joseph play ball. And Elaine, or is it Elaine? How do you say her name?
Elena?
Elena. Okay. It's Ellene in the band sometimes. So they want you to come out to Coosa and hang out.
I will.
Be
I
their
will.
guest. And I promise you get hooked up with free concessions if you come. If you're Dwayne East's guest, you're going to get free concessions. That's good.
So funny.
How fun
Yes,
is
I will.
that?
I will definitely tell him. Or Dwayne, I will definitely do that. I will get a schedule, and I will not be at the game this week.
No,
You ain't going to Georgia?
you ride with us.
Hey, but you can, you can tune into Kapow, Facebook, YouTube, and watch the game.
Yes.
For sure, we got you. But Dwayne always stands by the fence. You have to make him sit down. He's that dad, right? He's on
So
the
he's a-
fence.
he's a
yeah,
fence
he's
guy.
one of those fence guys for
Now,
sure.
is Joseph playing?
Oh yeah.
So okay,
Oh.
because he broke, didn't he break?
He did. Yeah, had surgery, and you just put some, in our day, you just wrap it up.
Put some
Okay.
dirt on it.
Okay, so he is cleared to play. Okay.
He's being raised like he's in the 80s. 'cause
Oh,
that-
yeah,
he's
yeah.
such a God, he's a
Drink that hose water. You don't need to drink
he's
out of a
good
bottle.
boy. Good guy.
You know the East, man. They be working too.
Tough. He's as wide as
well,
this
he-
table. I mean, just
Well, he grew up
muscles.
on well water.
He-
I mean,
yeah,
you gotta remember,
for
I mean,
sure.
you know, so. I mean, this filtered water.
Him and his sister,
Mhm.
you know, they love God so much. It's pretty awesome to see.
Great.
I remember that. I do remember in 21 when they were still living at the orphanage, when there's a very Christian organization. I mean, very Christian orphanage.
Yeah.
When I say that, I'm talking about services. They're singing church songs. They're playing church games. So, like I said, but I remember them singing, and the reason I remember it, the passion when they sang. I remember that. Closing your eyes and in the head, when you're just feeling it.
It's
I do
real.
remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that from a couple of other kids also.
They still like that. They're
Good.
still like that.
Good.
Because look at the family they're in. You got no choice. Hard-working family. So hey, let's bring it back home to Atala, because this is the Atala show, and,
Okay.
and if somebody with the heart of you and your wife and your friends from a little bitty place in Atala can help, others can too.
That's right.
You just have to not be scared and go out and do it.
No, and it's like we talked before off air when I was telling you while we were in Togo, Mayhem also had a mission team out in Detroit. I mean, to do mission work.
I may rather go to Togo.
Yeah,
me too.
It's not one you have to cross halfway across the world to do mission work. I mean,
Yeah.
our mission field is right outside our door.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
We can do anything, whether it's go in, help somebody in need, where their yard is overgrown, an older couple, or somebody. I meant, what is it? The food closets I see now, where people are putting
Yeah.
out where the cabinets.
Yeah.
Blessing
I see
boxes.
that.
Blessing box.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
blessing
Yeah.
box. Yes,
Mhm.
that I think Atlanta does. Is that right? Is that Atlanta?
I think there's several
Okay.
that do, but
I've seen that one.
thank
Like I
God
said,
for 'em.
There's been
Yeah.
different ones. I meant, like I said, there's a ton
Yeah.
that we can do in our area,
Yeah.
and we just have to do it. I mean,
So if I happen to know someone, and I won't mention his name or the schools, that he goes to the elementary school a couple times a year, and he tries to pay off kids' lunches back when they had to pay for
Back when
lunches.
they-
yeah,
back
I've
in the-
heard that. Yes.
Yeah, there's some people that's some great hearts out there for sure.
And you look at some of our schools. Yes, we definitely do. Tallahassee City schools, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, there's always a need there.
Sure.
A lot of some of the Gaston City schools, Walnut Park. You go look at Floyd. You go look at Strickland. There's a need.
Yes,
I mean,
Coosa.
I have
Don't
a
let the private Christian school part get you. Coosa's
Yes,
not.
Coosa.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a mission in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's a proud graduate. He's a graduate.
Yes, sir. Final question from
Okay.
me, but I think obviously there's mission fields here. You're right. You don't have to go across. You can go across the street
That's right.
and be a mission, do mission work. But how big is the orphan problem in Togo? Because I don't
Good
think
question.
we have the capacity to understand. Right? I mean, we do see periodically some children that are runaways or they're orphans and they don't have anywhere to go. But you can get them help, right?
Yes.
You can find some families, but how big's the problem out there?
I think it's undetermined, and that's not a good thing, because you'll go when you're walking around some of these villages, you'll go by somebody's living conditions, and you'll see a female who you think is a mother presence, but then there's 8, 9, 10 kids, which you don't, and they're very similar in age, and you can be naive and think, oh, that's all our kids, but they're probably not.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of orphans. I can tell you that, but I think there are more that we don't know of, just because of that fact.
Jeez.
And also it goes back to when you were talking about. Well, I'll keep privacy on that. When we were talking about a certain person's older brother maybe passing away over there, that's the same way. Somebody might have parents that they just all of a sudden they contract malaria, they pass away, and then all of a sudden these kids are dropped off by the state at the orphanage. And that's the other part about this. A lot of these orphanages too, they're state run. I mean,
Yeah,
what I don't think. I'm sure it doesn't, but the state does acknowledge them. The state does keep up with it, but I don't think there's a lot of red tape involved in it. But the state does know where the orphanages are. A lot of them are in Togo.
Man, something else.
Man, we're just so thankful for families like yours and your organization, the East family, for bringing, for carrying out your faith, not just waiting for the next guy to do it. So thank you for your heart, for sure. It's we're certainly proud, and this isn't about you, right?
No.
You didn't want to about you.
This is,
we wanted to make it a little bit about you and your family, because it is a big sacrifice that you guys do.
This is the Lord shining His light on the world.
But we want to say thank you.
I'm just a little small part of it. It's all because of Him.
How's the coffee over there?
The coffee.
Water. Bottle.
Don't drink the water. I was going to say that's my next question. How you drink the coffee without drinking the water? You bring your own.
Yes, yes. But the coffee, actually, that is one place we do drink coffee at. I do. But because it's so limited, because you do that, or you have your own water, you freeze it. But a lot of your colas, they got to use ice. But I mean, you're at that point, you're thinking, the ice is made from water, which so you got to be. My diet is very limited. I think this past time I lost 7 pounds when I was gone. We did eat lamb one day. We had a guy, he cooked a lamb for us. It was a gift. But we call it street meat. But it was a guy that he has this 60-gallon drum, and it's cut out, and he's cooked a lamb. Or prepared lamb for us.
A lot of sweet potatoes and those kind of things eaten over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I read that somewhere. Okay.
Vegetables, rice is really good. Rice,
sure.
couscous, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They do a lot of stew. They like putting on top of their rice and stuff. But flatbread pizza, because they can cook it in. They can cook it in a brick oven, stuff like that. But you just, you just gotta be careful what you eat.
That should here too.
That's what my doctor
Just
said.
talk
Be
to my
careful what you eat.
cardiologist. Lord Jesus.
And-
Sorry, Lord, Father,
and-
I messed it up.
And Brian does not abide by that. He's very he has a lot of faith in the Lord when he chooses some of the things that he goes.
We gotta watch them.
When
He
we're going down
takes
the
after his
side road.
dad. That's what it is.
A lot of peanuts. Peanuts are good there.
Okay.
That's the one part. An empty water bottle is a treasure in Togo, because what they'll do is they'll get it. We hope they wash it, but whatever peanuts they get, cashews, they stuff. So you'll be going down the side of the road, and you'll see a little makeshift table, and they'll have all these water bottles filled with peanuts. And you go by, get it, and then great peanuts. Great peanuts.
Lastly, before you get you out of here, how's everything going at Rick's Drugs, man?
We're making it. Like I said, we're hanging in. Insurance companies are still being the same thing they are. We're hoping October.
But I thought we're on a good path, though, right?
We're hope so. October 1, we're getting there. We think Steve Marshall, you're gonna have a lot of pressure on you. I hope you abide by. Hope you want to follow the law, because
We know where he lives.
you have a lot.
I have an address. Can we pick at Steve Marshall Street, just up and down the street?
Right.
But a lot of pharmacists, a lot of people are going to be very interested in seeing, making sure that does. But for us, this is our busy season. School's starting back, and unfortunately, when school starts back, that's where you get sickness, because kids, they carry germs. They pass germs along to each other.
Yeah,
they bring
do.
them home to mom and dad. They give it to the teachers or the administration, and they bring it home to spouses.
Get ready.
Thanks.
But anyway, so we get that. Flu vaccines about to start ramping up.
And you guys do all that right there?
We do.
Heck yeah.
Finishing up wellness screenings for the teacher associations. Theirs are due the last day of August. So
We'll get him out of
Better
here.
go faxed in,
a
a
lot of-
$50 fine.
yeah, a lot of those are procrastinating. So, but we're finishing up wellness screenings there. I guess for the local employees, your firemen, policemen, those city staff, theirs are due, I think, the end of September, and then the state employees in October. So
You're busy.
So we'll have wellness screenings and all that till the end of the year, and then we'll start over in 2026. But this is just a busy time, exciting time. I always like fall. Football is my favorite sport. I love football. I love
we
college
go.
football. I love high school football.
Yeah, man.
I'm hoping we have an early fall. This past couple of weeks, it's been good. Past few weeks,
We needed
that
it.
I've been here has been hot.
We need it Friday in South
It
Georgia.
says 86 and 75% chance of thunderstorms.
What's that? Hurricane.
It's gonna mess our golf game up, man. I'm having a problem with this.
You don't get those little bands coming off the side.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
We're gonna have to go to the simulator down there.
That's what it's going to be.
Are you going to be in the press box, or are they going to put you in the stands?
No, we have our own press box on the visitor side. That's they call it a press box. It's an open front.
Okay.
It's like a convection oven. It's tinned and no air, no fan.
Because have
no-
y'all been out in the stands having a broadcast from the stands?
Sure we
okay.
have,
I know
yeah.
that's one that.
This is year 25. There's very few places where we haven't broadcast
I need
the game.
Back of a pickup truck.
Back of the pickup truck, Lincoln.
Also, the one we just
Oh,
went to,
Valley Head.
Yeah, we did.
Well, at least
there.
now they have. See, when we broadcast that game 3 years ago, there was no power on the visitor side, so we had to plug into Jeff's truck.
Nuh-uh.
You just make,
Fun
know,
stuff.
and they were great. I mean, great people up there. What? They're not dogging that coach is amazing.
Even in Southside, we've called from the stands.
Yeah, that.
That was rude.
Sorry, you just about got me to go off the rails in front of this
Well, that was
godly
your
man.
friend too. It was Winnie.
It was William.
Yeah.
So, lastly, man, I can't know. Okay, this is it for me. What was the very first thing you just had to eat when you got back home?
Let's see. When I got back home, what
He'd
did
help.
I eat?
Fruit and berries.
Granolas.
What did I eat on the way back? Let's see. We got back.
He's calling Mac. Hey, can you open that deli up?
No, he's trying to make sure he tells it right.
No,
'cause
I'm
he
trying
knows-
to- I'm
He
trying
knows
to-
his bride is listening.
Whatever she fits.
She'll text us and tell us this
What
trick.
did
Put it on this
we-
message.
We ate because I got back at. I can't remember.
Johnson's Deli.
It was Johnson's
Sure
Deli.
It was.
It wasn't the chicken. What was it? That's
Now it's
Was it the smoked chicken?
Well, I'm gonna get a
We know
text.
he's
I'm gonna get a
smoked
text
chicken
message
fan.
at 3 a.m. in the morning, Jeff.
I'm gonna.
Lasagna.
What did we eat?
He ate the banana pudding.
The banana pudding.
Yeah.
I honestly cannot remember
That's fine.
because I know it wasn't. We didn't stop at fast food. Hold on, wait. I ate a bag of chips in the airport. I remember that. That was the first thing when I touched feet. I guess
That's funny.
we were waiting on
And you
his
enjoyed
first meal.
every morsel too, didn't you? Every crumb. It was-
Your bride says it said Kobe. Kobe.
That
your
was
favorite.
it. We got takeout from Kobe.
Kobe. Thank you.
Because it was going to be because my kids. It was the kids. It was going to be their last full weekend here before they go back to college.
Yeah.
And we knew they would want Kobe takeout.
Heck
so
yeah.
that's what it was.
the
Okay.
extra yum yum.
Yep.
How to get the
I
extra
remember
yum
now.
yum.
Well, I was a little sleep deprived at that point.
I'm sure, no question about it.
So that's why I couldn't remember. But yeah, that was it.
That's
Kobe.
funny.
I remember.
Scott Cornelius. What is it? What you got?
Hit our sponsors before we get out of here.
That's-
Thank
okay.
you to all of our sponsors. I like the way Jeff does it. I'm gonna let him do it.
I was trying to roll this thing up. We want to thank you to Shelnut and Varner attorneys. You guys are our exclusive law firm of Capel. Everything we do, and this is Atala Rick's Discount Drugs right there in Atala, your hometown pharmacy.
I've heard of
full
her.
service.
Right there, look on
pharmacy.
his shirt right there. Looking
That's
all
right.
nice.
Oh, you got a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Etowah Used Cars. Thank you, City Councilman Dwayne Ball and your family for taking care of everybody in Atala for a long time. Brett Davis, candidate for Southside City Council, Place 5, is the king of social media, by the way.
Love that dude, by the way.
I love how he handles trolls. It's the greatest thing in the world. Sacred Art Tattoo Company. Thank you to our buddy there that is tatting up Etowah County. Rainbow City Councilman Randy Weiss. He's asking for your vote right here for Place 2 in Rainbow City. Boy, he's lining up social media here
He is.
lately too, making
He
appearances
is all over.
everywhere. Rick's Discount Drugs, Scott Cornelius and family. Thank you for everything you do for us, for the Lord, for His kingdom,
Amen.
and for the city.